This video is sponsored by Alcid eHomes, whose mission it is to accelerate the advent of sustainable, healthy living systems around the world. Hi, and welcome to Best in Tesla. So we have been talking a lot about Norway because they are really going all in on EVs, and today only about 9% of the new car sales market is good old ICE cars. The rest is plug-in vehicles. But Norway is a very small country. But China, on the other hand, is one of the world's giants and is the world's biggest car market. And they are also pushing extremely hard for EVs. Also because their air pollution in their big cities is no joke. They even have a visibility forecast. Oh, we can't see more than 200 meters today because it hasn't rained for 2 weeks, so the smog is filling up the air. So China really wants to get their transportation sector to go electric so they can get rid of all this air pollution in their cities. So this combined with being the world's biggest car market, this is where the battle for the EVs will be. That is why we see Tesla build their first factory outside the US in China, and we see Volkswagen and GM, pretty much everyone else, coming to China to conquer the EV market. But China also has their own automakers and many new EV startups, so this is not going to be an easy fight. And we do see the old OEMs from outside China is having big trouble in China, while Tesla is once again leading the race. Why is this? Well, let's take a look at one of the most important battlegrounds for the EV revolution, and let's dive right in. Reuters noted in an article that Volkswagen is far behind on its implied annual target of over 100,000 of the ID.4X and the ID.4 Cross combined. And so far Volkswagen has only sold about 5,000 ID.4s in China from January to May, but they did first start the sales of the ID.4 at the end of March. But still, if they expect to sell over 100,000 in 2021, they have quite the ramp to do, since they only sold about 1,213 ID.4s in May. And that is a bit worrisome for its CEO Herbert Diess. Those low sales numbers follow the company's staking its reputation on beating Tesla for electric supremacy. And meanwhile, Tesla sold 33,463 cars in China in May alone. Tesla has actually already sold over Volkswagen's target of over 100,000 cars in 2021 with the combined sale of the Model 3 and Y in just the first 5 months. Yes, Mr. BS, no growth story in China for Tesla. And Toyota didn't do well at all. It only sold 327 electric vehicles from January to May, while XPeng and NIO also set monthly sales record in June, so the Chinese are ramping up. So it's not only Tesla that is doing great, but it's the old OEMs that are not doing great. Another key point that the Reuters article pointed out was that Volkswagen and FAW, one of the Chinese companies it is in joint venture with, have EV factories that are running below 10% of production capacity. This is due to poor sales from lack of smart feature and competition, and a late launch are also to blame, they said. Tesla, on the other hand, is doing so well in China that China's own smart EV startups are struggling to catch up or even get close to Tesla's sales numbers. As we can see on this list, yes, NIO and XPeng are doing great, beating their sales record, but when it comes to sales volume, as you can see here on this list, no one comes close to Tesla. Yes, I am discarding the little shoebox of a car, the Wuling Mini EV, because it's hardly a car and costs less than $5,000, and if you crash, you die. So if we look at real cars and BEVs, Tesla's two cars, the Model 3 and the Model Y, are just dominating the Chinese EV market. But the scary thing is, when we look at this list, the top 20 best-selling EVs in China, you won't find any of the old OEMs here. There is Tesla at the top, and the rest is Chinese. Yeah, the EV race in China has taken off, but the old OEMs didn't make it in time. And as they mention in the Reuters article, it's partly because they are a bit late to the party, a lot of competition in China, but mostly it's because of the lack of high-tech technology in the cars, like I also talked about in one of my news shows. Because if you get into the ID.4, it will just be a nice car, nothing special about it. It does not have any high-tech stuff in it, because we know Volkswagen is already losing money with every ID.4 or ID.3 they sell, so Volkswagen don't want to put too much expensive high-tech stuff into the cars, so they will lose even more money. They are trying to make them as cheap as possible to keep their losses to a minimum, but I think this is going to hurt them big time in China. And this is a big problem for Volkswagen because China is their biggest market. They need to succeed here. So better lose money now by selling a lot of EVs, but being in the race than being left outside the race because of lack of smart features and get that reputation in China. If Volkswagen does not look out, they could become the Nokia of the car industry in China anyway. Yes, Volkswagen make great cars, but they do not make great smart cars. That is not the reputation you want in the EV race, where the car is pretty much just computer on wheels. So this is a little disturbing for the old OEMs, because we also saw a test drive done by Car Club in China between the BMW iX3, the NIO ES6 and the Tesla Model Y standard range. The Tesla won around the racetrack, even though it was only the standard range, but the ES6 won the drag race with its 0 to 60 in 4.6 seconds. The NIO and Tesla were very close on braking as well, but the BMW lost on every single thing, even braking tests. So this is not good if the old OEMs can't make cars that can keep up with Tesla or the new EV startups in China on any specs or safety or braking or nothing. And at the same time, not really coming with high-tech software or gadgets. So sure, they are Western luxury brand, which the Chinese people like, but if their product is not good enough or what the Chinese want, they will go with something else, like a Tesla. Tesla is also a luxury Western brand, but with a lot of great high-tech technology. So the Tesla Model S Plaid is just an artificial intelligent wake-up call for the car makers. This car is so far ahead in every single thing that matters to the Chinese people. Very high-tech technology, full self-driving autopilot, voice control, get over-the-air software updates. That really matters, not just minor software updates like Volkswagen can do. You can see Netflix and YouTube on your 17-inch beautiful touchscreen. You can play games. It has a computer as powerful as a PlayStation 5, for crying out loud. So yes, maybe this Plaid will not sell many in China because it's a very expensive car, but it will have a great halo effect for Tesla, because you can get some of all these great technologies in the Tesla Model 3 and Y. So Tesla does look like a very compelling high-tech car, and that is what the Chinese people want. That is also why we see companies like NIO and XPeng's cars being very high-tech, cars with some very advanced software being built on top on NVIDIA's hardware. They have partnered with Danish sound companies to bring some awesome sound experience, door handle that pops out, advanced driver assistant, and so on and so on. Very high-tech all around. So no wonder when the Chinese people get into an ID.4 with no frunk, no great software, or really any fun technology to make it stand out, and not even fun to drive, why should they buy this car? But why is it that Tesla is even beating the Chinese car makers when they also have great high-tech cars? Because many of the old OEMs in China have kind of the same problem like Volkswagen, Ford, GM, BMW and so on. They just can't produce them fast enough because they don't have the batteries first of all, and it's all just very new for them to make EVs. They are all still losing money on selling them. Even a startup like NIO that is doing great and have just delivered a record quarter is still not earning money. Remember, it took Tesla over a decade to start earning money, so this is not easy. But while everyone has been so focused on making EVs that can keep up with Tesla in range and performance, even if they had to put in a little bit more batteries than Tesla, but anyway, and developing their own powertrain and so on, Tesla has been focusing a lot on manufacturing. How do we make these cars easier and cheaper to produce? Build factories faster, getting batteries in volumes that only Tesla knew was needed. So they started designing their own battery as well. So sure, someone like NIO and XPeng are making great EVs, but they are producing them just like the old OEMs. Also because someone like NIO is not producing its own cars, that is JAC, that is producing them for them, and they are an old OEM, making cars like they have always done. So now, when some of them may be feeling like, oh look, we're catching up with Tesla because we can also do 300 miles of range or 0 to 60 in 4 seconds and so on, Tesla is just standing there with their superior technology and of course still better specs, and no one has really caught up with Tesla yet, and Tesla has disrupted the whole way we make a car, and the old OEMs are standing there with their nice EVs and thinking, what? We've finally come out with a great EV, and now you're telling me that Tesla is making cars in a totally new way, faster, better, cheaper, with the world's greatest software, and where they can build a gigafactory in just 1 year? What? So the old OEMs do have a huge problem in China. If they want to get in and succeed, they need to step up their game and make very compelling EVs with a lot of great high-tech stuff in their cars. And as I said, this is Volkswagen's biggest market, and they are in trouble. Volkswagen's head of technology, Ulbrich, said, "We want to stay in the forefront of technology, and we can't rest or we will fall behind in China." Well, this chart shows their sales in March, April and May. With the release of a brand new product, we should see them just ramping up, right? But as we can see here, that is not really happening. And the e-tron is almost going away, and the Tesla Model Y is just shooting for the moon. You can take all of these 5 EVs from the legacy automaker, put them on top of each other, and they will still not have sold as many EVs as Tesla's lowest month. Or you can take the sales from all 5 EVs from all 3 months and combine that, and it will not be as much as Tesla just did in May with the Model Y alone. So Volkswagen is not leading the way in EV sales in the biggest car market in the world. Tesla is. They are not leading in the technology race either. The Chinese think it is not smart enough. Sandy Munro puts it dead last when it comes to EV technology compared to Tesla or the Mark E and so on. And the problem for Volkswagen is they have a plan for the next generation EV with their Trinity platform that should bring more range, faster charging speed and new software and level 4 autonomy. So that sounds great, right? But the big problem is that will not come out before 2026, 5 years from now. So Volkswagen is kind of stuck with their MEB platform for the next 5 years. They will not be improving a lot over the next 5 years before the Trinity platform is ready. And at that point, Tesla will no doubt have level 5 full self-driving car. They will be producing them in the millions, like 5 to 7 millions. I'm afraid that the Trinity platform is just a little too late. Because for the next 5 years, the Chinese people will get to know the Volkswagen's EVs like not smart enough, and that kind of reputation can be hard to shake off again after 5 years. We all know the downward projections of Ford and GM, and many don't expect them to survive this switch. If so, it will be by government bailout, and Volkswagen has been the one everyone has been looking at as the leader in the EV race after Tesla, and the one that had a chance to catch up. But I'm getting more and more worried about Volkswagen. If they fail with EVs in China, they can wave goodbye to 30 or 40% of their market, because in 5 years' time, there will not be a lot of ICE sales left in China. It will mostly be EVs. But Tesla, on the other hand, is doing great in China, actually dominating in China, and we know Tesla will be able to just build a new gigafactory more in China in just 1 year, including battery production of their own 4680 cells in the 200 to 300 gigawatt hours production capacity. That should be a very scary thought for the legacy automakers. So the battle for the Chinese EV market seems to go to Tesla and all the other Chinese companies that is coming up from behind. But the legacy automakers from outside China seems to not even be in the race. I know I'm just a very optimistic Tesla bull, but how can you not be? And thank you for watching, and until next time, take care out there and be nice.